This video is part of a series helping you to revise for your AS chemistry exams. Today we're looking at how to build an effective revision timetable for the 2022 exams. If you look in the description below, you'll find a link to the timetable I'm using here. If you're preparing for the AS exams in 2022, then this might be your first time making a long-term revision timetable. Lots of schools last year assessed pretty much continuously from January to June, so you might never have had an extended period where you needed to marshal your own time, and you almost certainly didn't have an extended period of study leave. That means you may have missed out on finding out which revision strategies actually work for you. Additionally, there's much more content in an A-level than a GCSE, so it's really important that you start early and that you have an effective system for spacing out your learning so that you can really embed it and consolidate it. Here's an example of what I think the default for most people is when they make a revision timetable. It tends to be hour-long slots on a specific topic and you just do what it says to do. Now this can be a really effective way to organise your time when you have lots of it and you have complete control over it. So for instance, when you're at home if your school gives you study leave. But in my experience, particularly at this point in the year, it has some major pitfalls. In February, March, even April, your teachers are probably still giving you exam questions or revision tasks to do at home, and you might not know in advance which topics they're going to be, and that can make it really, really hard to plan your revision around it. So you might be planning to revise atomic structure, and then suddenly your teacher gives you some organic chemistry exam questions, and you haven't got time to do both, and so you never do your atomic structure revision. And then there are lots of other things that might happen as well. You might see that there are some useful YouTube revision classes, or you might have extracurricular activities like a job or rehearsals or training or something, and those can all take up your time. And it's a bit early in the year to be giving up those things, but at the same time it can mean that this lovely timetable that you've crafted just starts to fall apart. Sometimes life just gets in the way, like maybe you miss a bus, or maybe you find that you just can't concentrate for a whole hour, because to be honest, that's a really long time to concentrate on one topic. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is that these revision timetables don't work for a lot of people. But what's the alternative? For the last few years, I've recommended revision plans like this one, and you can download mine in the description below. The idea behind this plan is there is no plan. The point of it is to make sure that you're spreading your efforts over all of the topics and making sure that you've got full coverage and that you're not putting too much effort into one thing or neglecting something else entirely. So it's not really important which topics you're revising on which days, it's just important that you're making sure you're covering everything. So because in 2022 we know which ones are the major topics, I've added an extra line for each paper that a topic appears in. So in other words, if we know it's definitely going to come up, it's more important than the other ones. So like we know that atomic structure is going to be in AQA chemistry paper 1, but redox isn't a major topic in either paper. If you haven't already watched my video explaining why you do need to keep revising topics like redox and inorganic chemistry, then click the link. But basically, they do still need to be part of your revision, you just don't need to do as much as you do for the major topics. I tend to work on the basis that each box is 20 minutes. So if on day 1 you revise 3 topics over the course of 1 hour, then they each get a box filled in. Then say if your teacher gives you some kinetics exam questions and they take you an hour, well, you just fill in 3 boxes for your kinetics line. It doesn't matter that you're not doing the topic that you originally thought you might be doing, but you have logged that you spent that extra time on kinetics, so you can probably leave it alone for a little while. You might also find it helpful to add particular strategies at the top, like YouTube videos or an app like Seneca or exam questions or flashcards. For GCSE students, I always recommend that they do this, because variety is key and it helps them to find out which revision strategies work well for them. You might already have one particular strategy that you're very keen on and that you find very effective, so I've left the space blank so that you can decide for yourself whether this is a useful addition or not. Hopefully you found that a useful suggestion for one way to structure your revision for the A-level exams this year. If you have found this useful, then don't forget to like and subscribe for more A-level chemistry videos coming soon.